we fishing at?
Pickwick.
Huh?
Pickwick.
Pickwick.
Yeah, we're going to
This is
Pickwick.
gonna be.
All right, guys, welcome
horrible.
back to another segment here of Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing Bass Open Pros Pick'em. Obviously, we're missing a box here. Bradley Hallman, the man himself, is on vacation that we all wish we were on in Florida. It's like he never left. Like I think he actually just stayed from the Bassmaster Open that we had at the Harris Chain and brought his family in for a vacation down there. Super jealous of that. So we're just going to let him have his vacation. I have his picks. Looking back, though, on the last event, we all kind of had a decent event. Nothing too crazy. I was looking back. I'm still at only an overall pick of like 44%, which is just awful in comparison to last year when I was at like 93 to 97. And I'm ranked 18,833. So I'm really in good shape. And in case anybody was wondering, I've actually had quite a few people ask how we are doing this year. Todd, can you see what rank you are and how your points are stacking up?
Yeah, this is weird because I never got in the 80s last year. So I think I'm in the 84 percentile.
That's pretty good.
Not really. No, we were all in the 90s last year.
I know. It was like, oh, this is easy. Like, it's no big deal. Yeah, no.
So 5,200 is my rank.
That's not bad. What about you, Panger? What's your percent pick?
I am 96.4% and 1,220.
Whatever. Yeah, like that's where we stayed though. Like that's where I stayed all of last year. I thought this was kind of easy.
I had two dud picks with Zaldane and one where he finished almost dead last, and Rick Clun had a last place finish. So and 0 points at that event. So kind of rough this year, at least for the start. I'm not real quite sure what Hallman's rank is right now, but I imagine in the next episode we will get into that. But hey guys, we're at Pickwick. They just had an Alabama team trail event here, I think it was the last 2 weeks, and they absolutely blasted them. And I think the bite is just going to get better. They're going to catch them. They're going to keep catching them. And these guys are going to hit at a very, very good time of year. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into Group A. And Panger, I'm going to let you start us off.
I'm going Jason Christie. He's coming off of a good tournament, and I think he's going to catch him here.
I agree. What about you, Todd? What do you got, Group A?
That made sense to me. He makes the most sense just because I think of how they're going to. You know what? No, it's. Come back to me.
I'll come back to you. Hey, I'm going to go and tell you straight up. I'm going Greg Hackney. No questions asked. The guy's got a chip on his shoulder. He's going out there for blood, and he's had success at Pickwick in the past, and especially flipping cypress trees. And I think these fish, everybody's so keen in on grass right now. He's the kind of guy that's going to kind of go against the grain a little bit and go find something off to himself. But I wouldn't even be surprised if he doesn't go find some hydrilla as well, some grass to fish. About you, Todd? Or actually, I'll go Hallman's pick because Hallman did send me his picks. He also went Greg Hackney, Group A.
This is I'm gonna do it, man. I don't care this year. Like I'm gonna go. So I can't believe John Cox should be a no-brainer here, but this is not my dark horse, guys. Brian Schmidt.
I like him here too. I looked at him too.
Dude, like I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I'm picked. Like I haven't picked. Like this is Hallman's pick, right? I mean, come on, let's just be honest. And I'm picking Brian Schmidt. I just think I think the grass and what's going on. Yeah, I think he might smoke on him here.
I think you're right. I really like that pick a lot. I was actually leaning on. As far as like a dark horse pick is actually going to Keith Combs at 1.2%. I mean, if you look at just the fact that there is grass and there's going to be a trap bite, there's going to be a hybrid hunter bite, there's going to be all those things. Those are the kind of guys that you're going to look at. See, like Texas guys, Texas guys are going to excel in this event. I really believe so.
And Brian Schmidt might be one of the best when it comes to straight up grass, swim jig, Florida.
Vibrating jig, yeah.
Florida. Like this could be, that's why I picked him, right? The swim jig, the chatterbait, the Florida deal. Like I think he's going to catch him.
Yeah, I agree. What do you got, Panger? Who's your dark horse?
We have seen numerous different ways and states that Patrick Walters has been able to catch him using the forward-facing sonar. So
he'll
he
catch
can
him
figure out
yeah.
something in the current on a jerk baits. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, he's up there in the Angler of the Year and has had a great year, has a lot of confidence going on. So, I mean, I don't know if that's really a dark horse. He's only at 5.6%, but
I think that's an easy, safe pick, honestly.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a good tournament. He doesn't have bad tournaments. If you notice that, like he just is really consistent, good tournaments. Or a great one, obviously. But what about you, Todd? Who's your dark horse? I mean, you already picked a dark horse as far as percent owned and as your pick.
This was my other one that I almost picked because this one's an easy one to me. Brian New.
Yeah, I think Brian he'll have a good tournament.
I almost picked him. So
let's go into Group B. I'll start that one off. I went Matt Robertson at 3.4. I rode Matt Robertson in the last one. It's a little bit riskier there. I mean, with the water as cold as it was at the Tennessee River, but I mean, you're talking Pickwick. This is right down the road from this guy's house. He absolutely catches them at this event. No questions asked. Gloves come off at this tournament. He's going to catch them. Panger, who you got in Group B?
Man, I got Kyle Welcher. I think this sets up for him. You see the success that he's had on a lot of the TVA fisheries. He's Alabama there. He can throw a frog and get offshore. He's not scared of the grass. He might pick up a sight fish here and there. He might come in with a 6-pound smallmouth. You have no idea what he's going to do, but he's kind of had a consistent but a little bit of quiet year, and I think he has a breakout tournament in this next one.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see. Hallman had Stephen Kennedy in this one, which I think that's a very solid pick as well. He's coming off such a good tournament there at the Tennessee River.
It's just risky, man. It's a hero or zero with Steve over the last couple of years as far as fantasy fishing is concerned.
Yeah, no doubt about that. But he's at 19.1%. I actually like Steve when he's lesser owned because it's like the pressure's off and like those times that you truly least expect him to come out the gates is when he typically does really well. So what do you got, Todd? Group B.
Brendan Cobb.
Oh, I like that.
I'm with Panger. There's a lot of like. This one's a hard one, man. Like I think you gotta like stay a little bit. I don't think you can pick too big of dark horses, even though I already picked one. But I think you kind of have to like pick some guys that are kind of like gonna like the Steve Kennedy. I agree. Like I know he's at 19%, but man, he can go either way. I'm trying to pick some guys that might be a little bit consistent.
No doubt.
Regardless of what place they're on, like that just seem to do well in general.
Yeah, just in general. I actually went as far as dark horses go. I went. Where's he at? I lost him.
Who'd you pick though? Did you already say?
Yeah, I picked Matt Robertson.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, my dark horse in League Live say once again the Texas aspect. If you want to talk about people who fish grass consistently, now granted Lake Fork hasn't had grass in a minute. He's still very well versed. And a lot of times those Lake Fork guys, if you look back at history of like whether it's Gunnersville or any of those places where they're ripping traps, guys that come out of that area tend to do pretty well, whether it's Niggemeyer or any of those guys. So I think Livesay is going to have a good tournament. What you got, Panger?
Dude, I'm going Cliff Perch. I think that there could be a kind of a dark horse swim bait bite here, and I don't think guys give Cliff Perch a lot of credit what he can do with the hard glide bait, and he's got a lot of confidence in it. We've seen him rode it in the Classic in the past, and if that thing is on, you can get in the mid-20s real easy, and Perch is a guy who'll definitely try to exploit that bite.
No doubt. What do you got, Todd? Who's your dark horse in this one?
Drew Benton.
I like Benton.
I got Drew just because kind of the same deal. A little bit, if there is a little if there's just a little bit of everything going on, I think he'll be all right.
Group C, I'll lead off with the Hallmans. He went Scott Martin, which Scott's coming off his first cut which that's always a just any momentum in this sport is huge. I actually went Buddy Gross. I cannot believe he's only owned at 15.8%. I know it is more of a pre-spawn time period, but I also watched him kick everybody's butt in an event that was early post-spawn, really early post-spawn, fishing eelgrass with a hair jig. And I just know that the guy knows that place is good or better than anybody. He's going to have a super, super strong event at Pickwick. What do you got here in Group C, Panger?
I'm going Scott Martin too. He's a solid pick, man. I mean, I think he's off and running for the year, and I think top 30s are going to be disappointing for him the rest of the way out. I think you're going to see a lot of top 10s from Scott the rest of the season.
I talked to him after the St. John's tournament in depth, and talk about, I mean, I think there was just a lot of nerves in that first tournament. You know, it's his first one back fishing at that level after a year. And I think there was just a little bit of nerves. He would never say that, but I think there was a little bit of nerves. And, you know, he made some really bad decisions. I mean, he was around the winning fish, really and truly was. He just made a few little screw ups, and he figured it out. And he was so excited. He called me after the Tennessee River, and he was so excited because he figured it out on the water, and it was just one of those things. I think he's going to have a great Pickwick tournament too. I really do. I just think if you look at from who edges out who, I think Buddy might have him by a place or two, maybe 10 places. You know, I just think Buddy might have it. What do you got, Todd? Group C.
Well, since all my research, when is this tournament?
This coming week.
March 18th through 21st.
The reason I bring this up is like I see what's going on, like regardless of the time of the year. And I've been fishing a whole bunch. Like I've been on Rayburn a bunch, and I've been seeing what's going on Rayburn, and we're way south of Pickwick. You know what I'm saying? Like in of and whatever people think is going on, it is way behind.
Way behind.
And it's way behind. And that's why I think the Buddy Gross pick is a freaking no-brainer, because I think it's going to be big time pre-spawn still.
Oh yeah.
So even if it's somewhat going on, there's going to be so many of them still pre-spawn that I think that's it makes it for a no-brainer for him. I mean, we might totally miss this pick, or we're going to just absolutely look like geniuses on this one.
Well, I mean, if you look, I mean, obviously Todd's been fishing Rayburn a lot. They weighed in a 35-pound bag today in a team event. Not Todd, but like another team weighed in 35. There was 2 30-pound bags today, a 30-pound bag yesterday in another event there. They're still like on the move. They're not spawning yet. And if they are, there's just a handful, maybe.
There's very, 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 trust me, very, very few.
And Todd and I both, I want to say Todd won one of the events that I fished in. I want to say it was either Rayburn or Toledo. It was like a mid-level, like AAA tournament. And we were catching spawning bass on, was Toledo Bend like the last week of February, first week of March. Or no, it was Rayburn. And I mean, it was so early. And right now we're at like the second, third week of March, and they're still not even up. I mean, this is going to be a late year. There's no doubt.
Yes.
And that's all the tournaments coming up. I mean, you're talking like, if you look at history and you're saying, oh man, it's going to be this massive, maybe spawn tournament, you need to add about 2 more weeks to that. And that's where you're going to look at. And that's for the rest of the year. Anybody that was affected by that big Arctic front that we had is going to be pushed back to a certain amount of time. So when you're making these fancy picks, make sure you take into account what's actually going on into this year. It's way different than a typical year. So just make sure y'all taking that into account. What is your Group C dark horse, Panger?
Group C dark horse. I mean, not really a dark horse, but we've seen Micah Frazier do well in tournaments like this before. Yeah.
What about you?
Micah Frazier.
Micah Frazier.
Okay.
What about you, Todd? Who you got?
I like. Man, I'm gonna pick a Kobe Krieger.
I'm gonna tell you somebody I almost picked as my main pick if Buddy had not been in this group. I was going Frank Talley. Frank Talley won a similar event. Obviously, it was in the fall last year on Gunnersville, but he can pick up a Thunder Cricket, a vibrating jig, and go down a grass line, and he understands the current game. I think he's going to actually have probably a really good tournament. And at 0.6% owned, he's just a no-brainer if you need to make up some ground. Group D, Pangrac, I'll go and start with you.
This was my toughest group. I mean, there's like 10 guys you could say, yeah, they could catch them, and 10 guys that you wouldn't pick. I'm kind of bailing out here and going with I feel like a safe pick, which would be Matt Airy.
Yeah. Actually, I went a safe pick as well. I mean, I love this group because there's so many guys that that just absolutely could catch them. Like a Todd Otten. I really like a Brad Waltley just because I know how much time he spends catching big ones.
I mean, even a David, you could see David Fritz cranking them up out there, especially if it's pre-spawn like you guys predict will be.
Yeah, I mean, I like Hanselman for this group. Like hardcore, like almost picked Hanselman, but I went Clark Winlet. With his shared knowledge of being able to fish grass pre-spawn, he's just a really good fisherman. And I think as far as history goes, like he hasn't had the best year he hasn't made the top 50 yet this year. And I know that is just burning a hole in his butt right now. So he's going to go out there and catch him this week. What you got, Todd?
The Matt Airy pick was interesting because I picked Matt Airy. Like I got you get on some of these groups and you get like flushed, like you just don't know what to do. And I picked Matt Airy I think it was last week, and he killed. Like I've done it once with Matt, and he killed me this week because I was like, or one of these deals. I think the Clark Winlet and Ray Hanselman pick are interesting to me. I honestly believe I picked Ray Hanselman.
I like it.
The Clark pick has more. I just know how Ray Hanselman fishes the grass, and he will fish it different than most, and he'll figure it out. The only thing that bothers me is I don't know if Ray's been there very much, and I guarantee you over the years Clark has. So Clark's going to have more of a knowledge of the lake. Ray might be a little bit sneakier in the grass than almost everyone in this.
See, we were on the same page on that because that's exactly where I was going with Ray. Is I just know like he is so unorthodox when it comes to grass fishing, and he just brings a different thing than probably those fish have ever seen.
Dude, and swim bait. Like I heard Taylor talk about swim bait, dude, and not big swim baits, he just will catch them like that. That's what he will go down there and do. I
watched him do it at one of my favorite creeks on Rayburn, in an event that we both got a top 10 in, and like I wasn't. Yep. And I was like, this is just it. It was I couldn't catch him, and he's just going in there catching 20 every day, every single day,
in front of everyone.
Yeah,
in front of everyone. Yes, I know.
I was like, he's just good, man. He's really unorthodox, and he's really good, and that's what it takes to win these really big events. Is sometimes be a little bit more unorthodox. I mean, look at guys like Steve Kennedy. There's a reason Steve Kennedy's won what he's won. He doesn't just go do what everybody else does. He does what Steve Kennedy does, and that's just the way he just fishes. And I think there's a lot of what Hanselman does. It reminds me a lot of Steve, truthfully. Right. And by the way, pick for Hallman was Clark Winlet as well. These were the safest picks I've ever seen Hallman ever make. So
I wonder why.
He's only having to take care of like a dozen people right now. So we'll give him a break. So what is your dark horse, Panger? What do you got in Group D?
I mean, I know he's at 14.4%, but we've seen Carl Jacobson in the spring on big fish fisheries do really simple stuff to catch big bags on a swim bait and a jig on current-driven fisheries. So, I mean, I think you could see Carl just doing something simple and catching a big bag every day.
So I'm going to get in trouble for this pick because you think these elite guys don't watch this. But I got a text from an elite guy, and I'm going to pick him again. It's Daryl Gleason as my dark horse at 1.2% because he fishes Toledo Bend. I know the way he fishes, and I know that he knows how to pick up a trap and go fish it. And I think he's going to have a good tournament. I'm very happy to pick that one. I think he's a good one. What do you got, Todd?
Well, I'm just going to pick one for Hallman. Just pick Tyler Rivette.
Oh, Rivette. Hey, dude,
I'm the one who got him on that train. I started looking at stats, and I'm like, this guy does suck.
I know.
No,
hey, that's why I'm picking him.
So let's go ahead and drop down to Group E. Man, it's definitely a top-heavy group with a Justin Atkins, 6% owned. And I went Chris Zaldain, though. He's had a lackluster start to the season. Like, it's funny. It's so funny that Panger was talking about he thinks it's going to be a swim bait tournament. This sneaking suspicion, I think that Zaldain picks up his mag draft and goes to work on him here at Pickwick. Like, I think he's going to blast them at this tournament. I would not even shock me if he doesn't have, like, the biggest bag of the event. Like, I truly think the guy's going to catch him big at this tournament. I mean, you look at his past results at Kentucky Lake, Gunnersville, and places where big ones live in current-driven fisheries with grass. Like, he always catches them. So, let's go. And I will point this out. I don't know if anybody watched Bass Live at the Tennessee River, but Zaldain actually was on the same exact school of fish that Gussie won on in the cut through at the Tennessee River, and he just didn't catch them. So, I mean, he was around the right ones. He just didn't have the event he wanted to have. So, there's that. So, Todd, I'm going to go ahead and let you go Group E.
Man, I can scroll up and down this all day long. I can come up with every excuse I ever want to. And it does not matter. I'm picking him. I'm picking Justin Atkins. I'm just not going to overlook the fact that might be the safest pick of all time. He might come in dead last, but I got to have some faith in Justin. I mean, he's caught him on Pickwick for years. Like, yeah, I just got to go with him.
And that actually is the exact same pick that Bradley Hallman made.
Yeah.
So just to let everybody know, Bradley Hallman's pick in Group E was Justin Atkins. What about you, Panger? You got? I'm expecting you to kind of go off the rails here a little bit.
No, I did the same with Zaldain. So I haven't had a talk with Chris about this. But you remember what happened with Byron Velvet and swim bait back kind of in that late 2007 to 2012. You got Rojas that went through it with the frog. Crochet kind of went through it with the frog too. And I'm not so sure that Zaldain isn't kind of going through that same thing with the mag draft now, where he's seen the power of it and he tries to push it and then push it. And he's trying to figure out how, I mean, he's been around for 10 years, but he's figure out how to use this bait to where it's helping him and not hurting him sometimes, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
I mean, dude, if there's ever a time to freaking pick it up, it would be here this time of the year, I would think. So, I mean, he's going to be around the right fish with a bait that big fish eat. And he doesn't like being down in the E group at all.
No, not at all.
I don't think there's any way that he goes 3 tournaments in a row. And I'm with you. I could see him having just a mega bag in this deal.
Yeah, I truly think he's going to have one of those big tournaments here. It's setting up so perfect for him to have a good tournament. He went through a couple real bad ones, and then we've all had bad tournaments. So I know he'll adjust, and I think it eats at him a little bit that he's in that bottom group, and because he's a better fisherman than that. Like, truthfully, like, he's just an excellent fisherman. And you make a good point as far as guys that really get stuck on a bait. I mean, look at Tommy Biffle getting stuck on the Biffle bug. Literally, the guy throws it every single place he goes. And if they're not eating it, he's in the bottom quarter of the field. And if they are eating it, he's in the top 3. Like, I mean, the guy catches them. So,
I've done articles with the guys, and they'll say, hey, the thing that made me, quote unquote, famous or that allowed me to win tournaments is the same bait that destroyed me. And they have to basically relearn how to fish it and not use it as a crutch. I don't know if that's the case with Zaldain. I mean, he's doing a lot of filming, and it just seems like he's always lobbing that sucker out there, regardless of where he is, whenever he is. So.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has a love passion with that thing. As far as dark horses go here, I actually went Randy Sullivan, once again riding that Texas train, and I saw him catch him off bridges at I want to say it was Gunnersville. He had a good event last year cranking bridges, so you're going to have probably some cranking going on at this one that is more hard cover, not just grass. So if somebody's going to catch him, I think he'll have a pretty good event. What about you, Todd? What do you got dark horse wise?
I mean, y'all just Y'all just did a 5-minute deal on swim baits. So Jason Williamson.
Hey, there you go.
No,
no doubt.
Yeah. Does anybody throw those anymore? What was
I
that
don't know,
swim
but he's
bait he
bound
was
to have
throwing
figured-
over the trees down there? What
I
was
want to say
that?
it was like an osprey.
Yeah, big old osprey.
It was yeah.
There's been a couple different ones, but
Right.
basically
There's
an osprey.
I think he was throwing the osprey, but I thought it was the well, it doesn't matter.
But yeah.
He's bound to have figured out another swim bait that is a little bit.
The cool thing is in my opinion, they don't make them as good as they used to. Those line through swim baits, they used to be like phenomenal. When
Yeah, I
they threw
don't.
hand pourers and stuff, and now they mass produce so many line through swim baits, and they're not even close to what they used to be.
Well, when you got 11 pound, when you got 10, 11 pounders swimming around trees and every tree down there, you don't have to be that good.
No,
So,
not really. That's probably true.
Maybe they weren't. Maybe it just felt that they were good because the place was like.
Yeah, when you see this big old 10 or 11 pounders float up behind it,
Yeah,
it's just so nasty.
schools of them. Schools.
Yeah. So bad. Amistad used to be the deal. So what do you got, Dark Horse Panger?
Man, as long as he's been around, I would think Jay Yellis might have a sneak hole or two, some little stretches of nectar out there.
I think you're probably right on par on that one. So let's go ahead and jump into the weight. This is probably one of my favorite parts is the weights because I feel like we almost hit it on the head every single time. And by the way, I hit it on the head on Gussie within a pound.
Were we all close?
Y'all were all under. Y'all were under. I was the only one I went over on everybody.
If it wasn't for Gussie, I'd have been dead nuts on, but he blew everyone away.
He did. He killed it. So, Panger, I'm going to let you start it off because I know you've already got yours done.
I'm going 87-11.
God, we're going to be so close.
No way.
What?
Nothing. It's just like, y'all don't even understand how I pick these things. I mean, like, Matt's over here doing homework for days. I look at it I had to ask when the tournament is, and it's just
it says it right underneath the Bassmaster Elite Series at Pickwick, March 18th.
I don't even know what you're looking at. It doesn't matter. I just laugh because like wait till you hear I already got it down. Like
go ahead. Let's hear it.
87.3. I swear, like, dude, I was like, I'm always like, am I gonna be like the only guy that's 20 pounds off of like this random guess? Yeah.
Yeah, I went 92 pounds, 10 ounces. They're fat, man. Like I've seen those, this time of year you look at summer tournaments. I've been beat in summer tournaments on Kentucky Lake, Pickwick when they were at their best, with skinny fish and weighing in almost 90 pounds, 89 pounds. When these fish are fat pre-spawn, like they're going to catch some big ones.
I had 92 was my first one, and I'm like, wait a minute, Todd, like you're gonna look like an idiot up there. So I put it back down.
They're gonna 80 guys or whatever the field is, tiny, and that big a lake, like they're gonna smoke on them.
What Hallman put?
He didn't actually put a weight, so like we're gonna have to get on Hallman on that. But yeah. I'm assuming like we've all been so close as far as weight picks. When a fishery's going off, it's really hard to pick because I mean. Technically, this could be a 100-pound tournament. I mean, truthfully, like
easily, yeah.
We could be so far off. So,
the thing is, this will be the one time the tournaments with grass in it like this, and like I said, they won't be spawning, so they'll be like pushing. Like if a guy finds it, and there's some stuff going on down here where I live. Like when you find, they just roll to you every day. Like there's going to be a guy that never has to move, and it'll be probably the easiest tournament he might ever win.
Well, just look at Hackney. He had a tournament there that I fished.
Was he on a shallow shell bar or something?
A shallow shell bar and
like 3 foot deep.
Destroyed everyone. Like it wasn't even a fun tournament to fish in. The guy just killed everyone and catching big ones. So like, I mean, he understands that shallow bar game. Like that's why the Hackney pick was just like when I saw that, I was like, I mean, momentum. He's won there. There's so many factors that go into that.
Did they get on the open with y'all? I mean,
yeah.
When's his last bad event?
Like 97.
Yeah, 97.
I thought you were saying like 97th place. I'm like, when's the
No.
last time he did that?
No,
like
97, the year of
1997.
97.
In 97, he did it.
Yeah, he had a below 50th finish.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about consistency, the guy, and you know those guys that came back. I mean, as far as Christie and Hackney and Atkins, and Scott coming over from FLW. I mean, these guys are hungry. They want to do well. I think they're all going to have good tournaments. But guys, thank y'all so much for joining me. Make sure you go and check out Todd, what he's doing on YouTube, and Panger on Bass Talk Live. Is it Bass Talk Live?
Yeah.
Okay, Bass Talk Live.
Yeah,
You
the
like
Bass
it,
Zone.
Bass
Talk Live.
Zone. I said Bass Zone Live last time, but Bass Talk Live.
It's
I
confusing.
heard
He's
I
like-
heard that Mark was in a serious car accident. I hope he's doing okay.
Not a car. He slipped and fell, hit his head.
Slipped and fell. Okay, I thought it was a
Yeah.
car accident. So he had
No.
a severe accident then.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all say a prayer for Mark. I mean, he's definitely been under the weather a little bit over the last week or so.
Yeah, we'll probably won't have shows this next week, but hopefully be back after that.
No, he
got
slipped and fell. I swear I thought I saw a car accident.
Yeah, no, he had a they think he'll make a full recovery eventually.
Well, good.
But he's got a lot of brain bruising going on right now,
I bet,
which is
I
never a good thing.
Well, make sure y'all say a prayer for them, and make sure y'all check out these two guys. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Guys, I know y'all have had a long week. We'll see you at Smith Lake, both of you. Right? Todd, are you fishing Smith? Yeah, you're going to be at the Central Open. Panger's going to be at the Central Open. I'm going to be at the Central Open. Hallman's going to be there. So y'all come check us out. We're going to have a bunch of videos dropping that week. And I hope y'all all are having a good week.